जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय राधा जय राधा राधा रस प्यारी रस प्यारी जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summum Bonum, Chapter 13, Brahma stealing the boys and calves, verse number 16. Tato vatsan adrishtvaitya puline api cha vatsapan ubhav api vane krishno विचिकाय समन्तत ततो वत्सान् अदृष्ट्वैत्य कुलीने अपि च वत्सपान् उभाव अपि वने कृष्णो विचिकाय समन्तत ततो वत्सान् अदृष्ट्वैत्य कुलीने अपि च वत्सपान् उभाव अपि वने कृष्णो विचिकाय समन्तत ततो वत्सान् अदृष्ट्वैत्य कुलीने अपि च वत्सपान् उभाव अपि वने कृष्णो विचिकाय समन्तत ततो वत्सान् अदृष्ट्वैत्य कुलीने अपि च वत्सपान् उभाव अपि वने कृष्णो विचिकाय समन्तत ततो वत्सान् अदृष्ट्वैत्य कुलीने अपि च वत्सपान् उभाव अपि वने कृष्णो विचिकाय समन्तत ततो वत्सान् अदृष्ट्वैत्य कुलीने अपि च वत्सपान् उभाव अपि वने कृष्णो विचिकाय समन्तत। माताजी। ततो वत्सान् अदृष्ट्वैत्य पुलिने अपि च वत्सपान् उभाव अपि वने कृष्णो विचिकाय समन्तत। ततः thereafter Vatsan the calves adrishtva not seeing there within the forest, etya after puline api to the bank of the Yamuna, cha also Vatsapan could not see the coward boys, Ubhav api both of them, the calves and the coward boys, Vane within the forest, Krishna, Lord Krishna, Vichikaya searched all over, Samantata here and there. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Thereafter, when Krishna was unable to find the calves, he returned to the bank of the river. But there he was also unable to see the coward boys. Thus he began to search for both the calves and the boys, as if he could not understand what had happened. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna could immediately understand that Brahma had taken away both the calves and the boys. But as an innocent child, he searched here and there, so that Brahma could not understand Krishna's Maya. This was all a dramatic performance. A player knows everything, but still he plays on the stage in such a way that others do not understand him. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 13, verse number 16, translation. Thereafter, when Krishna was unable to find the calves, he returned to the bank of the river. But there he was also unable to see the coward boys. Thus he began to search for both the calves and the boys, as if he could not understand what had happened. Hare Krishna. You can close it. So we are at a very interesting verse where Krishna appears himself as bewildered in order to bewilder Lord Brahma. Bewilderment means confusion, puzzled, not clear, not able to understand what is happening. What is happening in front of you, your present experience, does not match your previous experience or does not match your previous understanding. That's bewilderment. Our intelligence accepts logical sequence of events. But when it's not logical, there is a red flag, red alert. कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. Something not proper. So something illogical, not following proper sequence, and we experience, then we get confused, we get bewildered. So this is a beautiful pastime in which everybody involved is getting bewildered. Krishna getting bewildered, Brahma getting bewildered, the mothers getting bewildered, the fathers getting bewildered, the mother cows getting bewildered, Balram getting bewildered. Only we audience are special, not getting bewildered. We think हमको तो समझ गया, I understand this, not a big deal. So Krishna's pastimes are broadly into two categories: Aishwarya Leela and Madhurya Leela. In Aishwarya Leela, Krishna exhibits himself as Supreme Personality of Godhead. In that pastime, his Aishwarya is visible or experienced or expressed. His power, his weapons, his all-pervading nature, his knowledge, all cognizant, knowledge of past, present, future. That's Aishwarya Leela. In Madhurya Leela, Krishna's identity as Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered. He acts like a human, ordinary human or ordinary child, a boy. He expresses frailties or weakness of ordinary conditioned soul. And this is more attractive to devotees. His Madhurya, sweetness. Aishwarya means opulent. Madhurya means sweet. So Madhurya Leela is sweet. It's more attractive. So there are two categories of devotees. In Aishwarya Bhav and in Madhurya Bhav. This is not Madhurya Ras. This is not conjugal mellow. In Aishwarya Bhav, who serve Krishna with love and affection, having knowledge that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, my Supreme Master, Supreme Creator, Supreme Controller, Supreme Maintainer, Supreme Enjoyer, Supreme Proprietor. That's Aishwarya Bhav. There is a gap. Krishna is higher and I am lower. He is superior and I am inferior. Vibhu and Anu. There is this gap, Aishwarya, Bhav, Bhakti. Madhurya Bhav is when the devotee serves Krishna with love and affection, thinking that he is my equal friend, or he is my son, inferior to me, or he is lover, beloved, or husband. I am the owner of Krishna. I maintain Krishna. Yashoda Maiya thinks, if I don't feed Krishna my breast milk, he will die. If I don't chastise and punish him, he'll grow up as a bad boy, bad character. So this is Madhurya, in which the devotee sees Krishna equal or lower. Now those who are in Aishwarya Bhav, if they observe Krishna's pastime in Madhurya Bhav, they get confused. Like Mother Kunti, on Deepavali day, she came to Vrindavan Dham to take darshan of Krishna, hoping that by seeing Krishna I will be liberated from the clutches of material existence, from the cycle of birth and death. And she came and saw Krishna tied with a rope to Ukkal. And Krishna cannot untie himself. So she gets confused. She gets bewildered. That I came for my freedom, but he can't free himself. How can Supreme Personality of Godhead be tied? This doesn't match. So in Aishwarya, those who are in Aishwarya Bhav, they see Krishna's Madhurya pastime, they get bewildered. This transcendental bewilderment. Now those who are in Madhurya, they see Krishna's Aishwarya pastimes, they also get bewildered. For example, Mother Yashoda, she saw Krishna lifting Govardhan hill. Such a big hill Krishna lifted, and he called everybody, all the Brajvasis below the hill for protection. And everybody was so happy. It was a festival that they could see Krishna 24 hours, 24/7. But Mother Yashoda was not happy. She scolded Krishna. She chastised Krishna. Said, "You naughty boy, how many times I told you not to do mischief? And look, you have picked up this Govardhan hill. Why you are doing this mischief? Now just transfer it to father's hand, Nanda Baba's hand. Your arm will pain." Or Krishna killing Putana or any other asura, she doesn't accept. So we don't get bewildered because we are not in both. Not because we understand, we are higher than that. It's not knowledge, it's emotions, it's feelings. So in this pastime, after Aghasur is killed and Krishna is having lunch on the bank of Yamuna with his friends, Lord Brahma in order to test Krishna, he steals the calves. So, and all the sakhas are enjoying their lunch with Krishna in the center, feeding Krishna and receiving from Krishna, and discussing each and every item and the taste of that item, and joking and laughing and giggling. And Krishna is eating dahi rice with some fruits, and the way he is eating, small drops are falling on his dhoti, bad manners. So Brahma gets bewildered. He said, God cannot eat like this. Krishna, he eats with proper manners, not in the forest, without plate, on leaves and barks, and taking others' juta in his mouth. Muchi, that's too much, and all falling on his dhoti. Brahma doesn't understand this. So he steals the calf. So suddenly all the sakhas, they realize the calves are missing, and they get fearful. They have great love and affection for the calves, and they are very fearful if they return back to their village without calves. Their father will chastise them. So they stopped their eating. They said, Krishna, Krishna, where are my calves? Subala said, where are my calves? Sridham said, where are my calves? Ujjwal said, where are my calves? And Krishna says, where are my calves? All calves are missing. So Krishna says, oh my dear friends, don't disturb your eating. You enjoy your eating. I will personally go and search everybody's calves. They must have wandered eating some fresh grass. Don't worry, I will bring them back. Krishna is the one who just now killed Aghasur. So boys have faith that when he can kill Aghasur, bringing calves back is not a big deal. When he brought us back from poisonous stomach of Aghasur, when he brought us back from death and unconsciousness. So boys continue eating, and Krishna, without washing his hands, dahi is still in his hands, he picks up the flute and puts it in his cloth, in the waist. He picks up his bugle, puts it in his waistcloth, picks up his rope, put it on his shoulder, and stands up with dahi rice, searching for calves. And he goes inside the dense forest, near the mountain, and wherever there is fresh grass. And generally the way to search calf is two. One is footprints, another is the trail of grass which is eaten. If among a patch of land some grass is eaten and some is not eaten, you can see that path. So to find out which grass is eaten, the path and the footprints. So Krishna started searching for calves through this trail and through footprints. But he didn't find any trail, and he didn't find any footprints. Krishna searching calves is actually bewildering to devotees who are in Aishwarya. God has to search. He should know everything. He should know Brahma has stolen the calves. He should know where are the calves. And he should be able to go there and bring the calves. How can Krishna's search be unsuccessful? Krishna cannot be unsuccessful. When Krishna's devotees cannot be unsuccessful when they depend on Krishna, how can Krishna be unsuccessful? When Krishna is going for search, how it is impossible for him? It should be possible for him. So this is to bewilder Brahma. So searching the calves in all the directions and all the possible places. When Krishna does not find Vatsa, he comes back to the location where they all were having lunch. And behold, the coward boys are also not there. The sakhas are also missing. And for one moment, Krishna expresses confusion, bewilderment. That calves are also not there, sakhas are also not there. This is a drama. Krishna knows already Brahma has stolen them. But Krishna does the drama of being bewildered, of searching, of getting puzzled, so that his pastimes of Madhurya become all attractive. And Krishna's such pastimes, especially in Vrindavan, childhood pastimes, in which he becomes hungry, he becomes angry, he steals, he does mischief, he gets bewildered, he gets fearful, they are all attractive. And these pastimes are an impetus for loving him. When Mother Yashoda and elderly gopis see Krishna's naughty activities, their love increases. When the coward boys see Krishna's heroic activities of killing demons, their love increases. When the young gopis see Krishna's dancing on Kaliya or dressing very attractively and decorating body very beautifully and smiling sweetly and glancing lovingly, their love increases. So all these pastimes of Krishna are an impetus to increase love of the devotees. So Krishna performs his human-like pastimes as an actor. When an actor performs on the stage, why does he do that? To entertain his audience, to show his skills, and to get some fans, followers. That's what Krishna does when he comes in the material world, to entertain us. Instead of the conditioned souls trying to find entertainment in material heroes, actually material zeros, Krishna says, I am the hero. Get entertained by me. Look, I am so beautiful. Look, I am so attractive. Look, I can sing, I can dance, I can speak, and I can do romance, and I can do action, and I can get bewildered also, I can be fearful also, I can cry also, I can become hungry also. I can give you all the masala of entertainment. So he plays, enacts to give us entertainment and to make fans, to attract us, to attract the conditioned souls towards himself, to increase the number of devotees. So he is not a conditioned soul. He doesn't get bewildered like conditioned soul. This is just a drama. Like Lord Ramchandra in the forest of Dandakaranya, when Marich appeared as golden deer, frolicking and playing near Mother Sita, Mother Sita got attracted. And she told Lord Ramchandra, I want that deer. That is a parampara of all ladies desiring shopping. I want. So Mother Sita says, I want that deer. It's very attractive. Lord Ramchandra said, what will you do with this deer? He said, I'll give to Mother Kaushalya. She will be very happy. Now Lord Ramchandra cannot say anything. Now Lord Ramchandra knows this deer is Marich. I am the one who made 84 lakh species, and I didn't make this species. I didn't make this golden deer. He knows it's not on my list. It's not on my citizens list. But to please Mother Sita, he appears as an ordinary person. And he runs behind the golden deer, bewildered, getting attracted. He runs behind. So there's another episode in Srimad Bhagavatam. After Krishna kills Shishupal, one of the friend of Shishupal is Shalv, King Shalv. And he prays to Lord Shiva for a boon, for a weapon to defeat Krishna's army in Dwarka. And by the boon of Lord Shiva, he gets a airship equivalent to a big city. Airship, a city which can fly with all the sophisticated, opulent arrangements and weapons. That airship name was Saurabh. So he attacks Dwarka in that airship. And the army of Dwarka, including Pradyumna, they have a very formidable challenge. So then Krishna appears on the scene, and Krishna and Shalva come face to face. And Shalv chastises Krishna, said, you rascal, you killed my friend Shishupal, and you kidnapped his wife Rukmini Devi, would-be wife. Shishupal was about to marry Rukmini Devi. And Krishna kidnapped the Dulhan before marriage. Said, you kidnapped Shishupal's would-be wife and you killed him. Today I will send you to the abode of Yamraj. And Krishna took a club and hit him very hard, kaan ke niche. Hit him very hard on his neck, and blood started coming. And then Shalva, becoming fearful, he boarded his airship, Saurabh, and ran away. After some time, from the side of Dwarka, one messenger came running to Krishna. Not from outside, from inside palace. Said, Krishna, Krishna, crying. Said, your mother Devaki has sent me to you. And she has told me to convey you urgent message that your father Vasudev is being kidnapped by Shalv. Shalv entered Dwarka, kidnapped Vasudev. As soon as Krishna heard this, he started crying. And he thought that Balram is the one who is guarding Dwarka. And nobody, including any Asura or any demigod, can win over Balram. Not possible. But still this has happened. Naseeb ka khel hai. Providence is very powerful. And then Shalva came laughing very loudly, with a weapon in his hand, and a person appearing to be Vasudeva. He has caught him, and in front of Krishna he cut the head of Vasudeva and started laughing and said, "Look, I killed your father in front of you and you couldn't do anything." And Shukadeva Goswami explains, for a moment Krishna showed bewilderment. This was not real Vasudeva. Shalva had created a Vasudeva to decrease Krishna's morale. And Krishna is all-knowing Supreme Personality of Godhead. He should know this is not real Vasudeva. This is Maya Vasudeva, illusory Vasudeva. And he knows that. But still for a moment Krishna showed distress. He showed bewilderment, so that Shalva can think he is victorious. But then Krishna realized this is all false. Tears were covering Krishna's eyes. So when he wiped his eyes and saw neither the head was there, nor the body was there, nor the weapon was there, nor Shalva was there, and he could understand it's all illusion. Same thing they did to Lord Ram by bringing Mother Sita. Indrajit brought Mother Sita's illusory form and cut her head. So it is not possible to bewilder Krishna. He is not a conditioned soul. His bewilderment is a sweet pastime to attract conditioned souls who like to see such events. His bewilderment is a sweet pastime to increase the love of liberated souls, the associates, who when they see sweetness in Krishna's personality, frailties and weaknesses in Krishna's personality, human-like vulnerabilities in Krishna's personality, their love increases. A conditioned soul's bewilderment is due to ignorance. If we get bewildered, that's because of we are in lower modes, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, imperfect senses, limited understanding. And for a devotee practicing Krishna consciousness, being confused is a blessing. Because when we are confused, we ask question. And when we ask question, we get truth. It's like being hungry is a blessing, then you get Mahaprasad. And you get purified. So being confused is a blessing, because that confusion, due to that confusion, we ask questions. And when we ask questions, we receive absolute truth, we receive transcendental knowledge. And in that way, we grow further in Krishna consciousness. But if we be confused and remain shy to ask questions, then the confusion will pile up. The doubts will pile up. And our faith will become weak in Krishna consciousness, in Krishna himself. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is comparing his doubts to demons. Arjuna is confused. And it's a blessing for us, because Arjuna asked so many questions and we got Bhagavad Gita. So it's fine to be confused. It's not fine to remain confused. So I use my confusion as an opportunity to seek answers. I use my doubts to seek answers. Pariprashnena sevaya. And when I get answers, I get transcendental knowledge. I get further experience of absolute truth. Like Vyasdev, Srila Vyasadeva, he saw the people in Kali Yuga are not in good shape. So he wrote 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, 108 Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Mahabharat. But even after that, he was not happy. He was still confused, bewildered, disappointed. So he asked the question to Narad Muni that why I am despondent, why I am not satisfied. And Narad Muni said, because you have not exclusively glorified Krishna, his incarnations and his devotees. So you write a separate book exclusively glorifying Krishna. So the next day morning, Srila Vyasadeva again sat in meditation and had further experience of Govind, further experience of absolute truth. He saw Govind playing his flute, and he saw Maya Devi behind external energy. He saw internal energy with Krishna, and he saw all the souls. And he saw the method by which all the conditioned souls can become liberated at the lotus feet of Govind. And in that further maturity in spiritual life, in Krishna consciousness, he wrote this Srimad Bhagavatam. So this all happened because he was despondent and because he inquired from Narad Muni. If he wrote the Vedas and become satisfied, he would not inquire and he would not get further experience of absolute truth, and he would not write Bhagavatam. So it's an opportunity for Pariprashnena Sevaya, for asking questions. And whole Bhagavatam is question answer, question answer, question answer. Parikshit Maharaj is asking question, Shukadeva Goswami is replying, Shaunak Rishi is asking, Sutta Goswami is replying, Vidura is asking, Maitreya Rishi is replying, Vyasadeva is asking, Narad Muni is replying. All Bhagavatam is question answers. Because there is confusion, because there is seeking. Brahma is confused, so he asks Krishna. Narad Muni is confused, so he asks Brahma. Vyasadeva is confused, so he asks Narad Muni. So all these great souls have undergone that transformation of being confused, asking questions, and getting elevated. So it's a blessing for us when we have an opportunity to seek absolute truth by hearing, when we have an opportunity to ask question and get further experience of absolute truth, further growth in Krishna consciousness. So bewilderment is part of life of conditioned soul, and one should seek answers. One should seek truth, not blindly follow. Chalta hai. No, Krishna has given intelligence, and one of the characteristic property of having intelligence is having doubt. It's characteristic property. Third canto Bhagavatam. In other words, somebody doesn't has doubt only, everything he accepts blindly, that means no buddhi, no intelligence. So that's part of our spiritual growth. So Krishna's bewilderment is not conditioned soul's bewilderment. Even if Krishna is bewildered, he expresses that in his pastime he is still transcendental. He is not under the 3 modes of material nature. He is beyond the 3 modes of material nature. And Krishna's pure souls, pure representatives, pure devotees, his associates, their bewilderment is also under Yoga Maya. Arjuna getting bewildered and asking questions is under Yoga Maya. Krishna's friends getting bewildered, where are the calves? That's under Yoga Maya. So Krishna is acting that I am searching for calf, I am getting bewildered, I am being unsuccessful, I am thinking where are the calves. He is acting like this so that Brahma thinks I am victorious, I am successful, I bewildered him. So that in the next Leela, Brahma will be further bewildered. And we will see Brahma will get highly bewildered because Krishna will have a unique way to sort out this issue. Krishna can go to Brahma and say, look, I am God. You came from my navel and I was in Devaki's womb and you came and prayed me. Do you remember? But Krishna does not do that because he has other purposes. He wants to give further pleasure to the mothers and the Gomatas in Vrindavan. He wants to show to the whole world and including Brahma that nobody can bewilder Krishna. And if you try to play with Krishna, if you try to play with fire, you will be burned. Try to play with Krishna, you will be burned. Krishna's pastimes are only for attracting us. Srila Prabhupada, he used to sit in his quarters in Los Angeles. Outside his quarter there is garden and he would love that garden. So he would sit on his chair and his disciples would gather and they will read Krishna book. And Prabhupada with very great pleasure hear it. And when they would come to Krishna's mischief and Krishna fighting and killing demons, Prabhupada would get very excited. In fact, there is one episode in which the narration is being read that Prabhupada is killing one demon. Krishna is killing one demon, and Prabhupada, when he is hearing the narration, he smiles and he starts making noise on his lap. He says, oh, very nice, now this demon is killed. See, it's his own book. No author likes to read his own book because he knows what's happening in every page. He will feel bored. But Prabhupada was enjoying hearing Krishna's Leela written by him. And he said, this is not written by me, this is dictated by Krishna. So that's the greatness of this transcendental literature, and that's the greatness of Srila Prabhupada, who has given us this transcendental literature, that he himself is in ecstasy when he reads his own book, when he hears the narration of Krishna's pastime written by him. So we are very fortunate. And this 13th chapter is the last chapter Srila Prabhupada commented on. From 14th chapter, Prabhupada disciples gave commentary. So, but the next chapters, till last chapter of 10th canto, Prabhupada has given in Krishna book. Prabhupada wrote Krishna book beforehand because he was not sure whether he'll have time to complete the whole 10th canto. So he said, at least Krishna book I should give. All great acharyas, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sanatan Goswami, they have given 10th canto. If not the whole Bhagavatam, at least 10th canto they have given, because this is samam bonam, the most essential. So we are very fortunate to read this transcendental literature, to discuss it among devotees. Very fortunate that Srila Prabhupada has given us in a very easy language, very easy to access and relish and learn and practice Krishna consciousness. So this is very good. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, we'll end here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. With any comments or any questions? हाँ, गुणमय प्रभु.
हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी. अच्छा, जैसा हम लोग सुनते हैं परंपरा से कि श्री सुखदेव गोस्वामी परीक्षित महाराज को सुनाएं और फिर वहाँ से सुत गोस्वामी शौनक आदि ऋषियों को सुनाए, फिर वहाँ तक सुनते हैं, उसके बाद आगे नहीं सुनते हैं कि कौन फिर सुत शौनक आदि फिर किन को सुनाए उधर, फिर ऐसे परंपरा आगे बढ़ा।
हाँ, शौनक ऋषि भी सुना है, मुझे याद नहीं किसको सुना है, किसी को याद है? परंपरा आगे बढ़ा, शौनक ऋषि भी सुना है मुझे, किसी को सुनाए थे तो मुझे अभी ध्यान में नहीं। ठीक है, कहते हैं बृहद भागवत में परीक्षित महाराज भी सुनाए सुखदेव गोस्वामी से सुनकर, रुक्मिणी क्वींस ऑफ द्वारका, द्वारका के कृष्णा के पत्नियों को सुनाए, तो है कहीं ऐसा। ठीक है, एनी मोर क्वेश्चंस? यस शरद।
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much for the very wonderful class.
Thank you.
And especially in the beginning you started very nicely about bewilderment and then going about the foundation of asking questions. So I'll try to seek answers. So in the beginning also you mentioned about these two bhav, Aishwarya bhav and Madhurya bhav, and accordingly different devotees getting bewildered. And you said very nicely, because we are not in any of the bhavs. So my question is that this Aishwarya bhav looks like there is lot of respect component is very much there in Aishwarya bhav. Respect, and with respect we hear that gratitude, starts, increasing in us. And we feel grateful that, okay, thank you very much Prabhuji, So this respect component is, we hear is like, like for us it's like the foundation, because upon which it will build up, and gradually we will go to Madhurya actually, So, but then in Madhurya Lila we find that it's not very much prevalent, this respect component. So like, and practical application of this, if we try to apply in our spiritual life, in our Krishna consciousness, so if you can tell that how can we try to at least look upon in terms of relationship with devotees, because surely respect component has to be there as we are practicing, especially towards authorities and other senior devotees, when we try to seek questions, answers and all. So but then at least to have the aim that, okay, like I have to go there, because that loving reciprocation will actually give us some nourishment actually, because how long I will be, but there is a kind of fear stage, kind of in the beginning, that okay, I'll come, so healthy fear is good, but then it can also go to an unhealthy fear stage. So how can, like, we as practicing sadhakas, how can we imbibe that mood that, okay, like loving reciprocation may not be Madhurya stage of the gopis and all the cowherd boys and all, but trying to find that.
Yeah, well, it is not that somebody is in Aishwarya Bhav, then eventually he gets promoted to Madhurya Bhakti. It's not like that. Those who are in Aishwarya, they stay in Aishwarya. Those who are in Madhurya, they stay in Madhurya. Both are happy and satisfied. It's not that Hanuman wants to become gopi or something. So they are satisfied. So it is not a vertical from Aishwarya to Madhurya I have to go. It's not like that. Maybe we are thinking now I am in Aishwarya, but that's not also true. We have, as you said, respect for Krishna, but that's not Aishwarya Bhakti. This is sadhana. This is Vaidhi Bhakti. It is not on a platform of perfection. Aishwarya and Madhurya, both Bhakti, are platform of perfection. We are on the platform of imperfection, though it resembles Aishwarya. Okay? And second is, we have, a devotee can have one of the 5 rasas with Krishna. That is not applicable between 2 devotees, there are 5 rasas. So if you have authority or a senior with whom you have respect, that will remain whole life. Not one day it has to become or grow into loving relationship of Madhurya or conjugal or Matsalya or something like that. So for devotees, that 5 rasa business doesn't work. That respect with devotees will remain. Of course, there can be additional components of exchange, loving exchange. right? So you have respect for a devotee and you keep serving, and sometimes the devotee may come and put his hand on your back. So from his end there is a additional equality. But that doesn't mean next day I also put hand on his back. That okay, now my relationship is growing and coming to madhurya level, now I can have equality. That's not true. So with devotees there is no five rasa business. We remain respectful to seniors till the end. Even if from their side they express some loving familiarity, and we continue to serve them, acknowledging that love, but still the respect should remain. Right? So, in any two devotees, gradually the relationship will grow, and they will have more faith on each other, more love for each other, more trust on each other, more service attitude, more desire to see each other's spiritual growth. That will be there. To protect each other, that will be there. But it will not be like the way Vrindavan devotees have with Krishna. So the respect will remain. Is that okay? So familiarity is not good. With seniors, familiarity is not good. Okay? Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, here it is mentioned in purport that this was all a dramatic performance, and you also explained that all Krishna immediately knew that this was by Brahma, and you also explained about Lord Ramchandra. There also he knew that that was Marichi. I want the clarification in case of Mother Yashoda binding Krishna. So there also the activities that were happening next. So were they Krishna was already knowing, or it was completely different rasa? Can you just clarify on both of those things?
Okay, so as observers, we should understand that Krishna is doing drama like he did with Brahma. But if we go into more detailed rasa, Krishna's drama is not actually a drama, but under the influence of Yogamaya, Krishna does really has those feelings of being dependent on Mother Yashoda, of being fearful of Mother Yashoda's stick, of actually running away. So Krishna, under the influence of Yogamaya, actually forgets his position as Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he thinks as a small child that my mother is going to chastise me and I should escape the punishment. So he runs. And when Mother Yashoda tries to bind, he cries and he becomes angry and he wants to do more mischief. So this is not drama in the sense that Krishna is just feigning anger or feigning fear. He actually experiences these emotions under the influence of Yogamaya. And that's how the pastime is real and attractive. Okay? But as observers, when we see or hear this pastime, we hear Bhagavatam with the understanding that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it looks like drama. But when we are eligible to actually participate in the pastime, we'll understand these emotions are real. And Krishna is not feigning it. In the real Damodar Leela, Krishna did had false tears. Now this is one step further. But this false was real. Okay. Yes, Govind Kumar. Can pass over the mic.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So we see in the case of Arjuna, when he got bewildered, he sought help of Krishna and got enlightened. In case of Mother Sita, when she got to see that deer, she became bewildered by the deer and wanted that deer badly, that I want it. So we see that in case of bewilderment can be causing us misery, anxiety, or false happiness also, that a false hope that I should go for it. So when we are bewildered and when it causes anxiety, we go for seeking help because it creates some confusion and we think that we need some help. We seek counsel. So, but then the problem comes when we feel happy, means we feel a hope in our bewilderment, okay, this will make me happy if I get this object, or if I do this action, I'll become happy or comfortable. So that time we don't want to seek help. Rather, we discard whatever comes, good counsel comes to us. So how to be helped in that situation? We are not ready to accept help.
So a conditioned soul, when he is bewildered and develops a false hope that this object will give me happiness, and he takes it, he doesn't get happiness. So he is again bewildered. So again he tries the same thing. So this sequence continues till he knows that this is not working, I have to seek help. Right? So eventually comes to the former part. That's how, what is that verse? Bahunam janmanam ante Gyanvan mam prapadyante. After many, many births of bewilderment, of bhoga and tyaga, he comes to knowledge that I should surrender. Vasudevam sarvamiti samaatma sudurlabha. Right? So if somebody is bewildered and he wants sense enjoyment, he can continue this sequence for many births. Finally he has to seek advice from a devotee or a spiritual master and come to Krishna. So that happens. Bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga, bhoga tyaga. Finally Gyanvan mam prapadyante. After many births he comes to Krishna. So in that sense confusion is a blessing. Eventually you come to Krishna. Right? So now we know this, so better in next time we directly approach Krishna, directly approach spiritual master, directly approach for an answer, rather than having a sense gratificatory solution to our anxieties or our requirements. So we think, I have this problem and this will make me happy. But is this a solution bona fide as per Guru Sadhu Shastra? If yes, then I should accept it. If not, then I should seek advice. Right? So, coming to Krishna consciousness now, we should have this strategy that better seek advice than a solution born out of my material education, material experience and material contacts. So eventually a conditioned soul will have to come. Otherwise he continues birth after birth after birth. Okay? Any more questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
How is relationship in Aishwarya Bhav with Krishna is different from relationship of coward boys who are dependent on Krishna because of they saw Krishna's extraordinary strength, power and those things. So how is those two relationship different? Because they also saw how Krishna is extraordinarily powerful.
So in Aishwarya Bhav, they depend on Krishna for protection, knowing well that Krishna is superior power. He is my master, he is the creator, and I am lower, inferior. So there is a gap, respect. Coward boys depending on Krishna is not based on this knowledge. They are equal, but they see Krishna as our hero. Right? So they see Krishna as hero who killed few demons, so he'll kill next few also. And in fact, there is a set of coward boys who don't allow Krishna to kill demons. They say, we will take care, you don't worry. So they are little higher in age to Krishna. So those coward boys who are Krishna's friends, but little higher in age, they carry weapons, lathi and all. And whenever a demon comes, they say, Krishna, keep yourself in a circle. We will take care of the demons. So they don't see Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. They don't see him as superior. They see him as hero, our circle ka hero. So he will take care of us, because every time he does that. So in Aishwarya, if there is a danger, they will fold hands and run towards Krishna, like demigods do that. In Coward Boy, when there was danger like Aghasur, they didn't fold hands and run towards Krishna. Fearlessly they ran to a demon. Said, Krishna will take care. Right? If demigods were there, they would not run towards Aghasur. They would run away from Aghasur to Krishna. That please protect us, Aghasur has come. That's Aishwarya. Right? So here there's fun. For them it's a game. That Krishna will take care. Okay? Any more questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In the class, you were telling that when Krishna book was read, Prabhupada was relishing Krishna's pastimes. But when we are reading Prabhupada books, we are just reading theoretically, like we are not much relishing, like we are just reading for sadhana score or something. So how we can improve relishing this?
Yeah, so we keep reading. We keep reading and we get purified. Once we are purified, we develop emotions, attachment, love, taste, and then we relish it further. Right? So we keep reading. Like a young child doesn't want to go to school, but the parents force him to go to school. He doesn't relish. He keeps going to school out of force, out of sadhana. Then eventually he relishes school and college so much that for 4 years he leaves the house and goes in the hostel and stays for school, for education. And parents say, "Arey, come back." He said, no, next semester I will come back. Right? They start relishing, I don't know, education or whatever they relish, freedom. Right? So in the same way, keep practicing and reading and chanting. By Krishna's mercy, when anartha nivritti happens, when purification happens, we enjoy, we get joy, we get taste, we get spontaneous attraction. So this process we should continue. Okay? Yes, Hanuman Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. This was very nice class, inspiring class. भगवान श्री कृष्ण गीता में उनका आने का कारण बताते हैं, साधुजनों की रक्षा, दुष्टों का विनाश, धर्म की स्थापना. और कुंती देवी और एक कारण बताए हैं, तथा परमहंसानाम मुनीनाम अमल आत्मनाम भक्ति जोगम विधानार्थम कथम पश्यमे श्रेया. जो परमहंस स्थिति पर पहुँचे हुए भक्त हैं, जिनका हृदय निर्मल हो चुका है, अमलम मुनिना अमल आत्मनम, उनके हृदय में भक्ति योग का बीजारोपण करने के लिए प्रभु अवतरित होते हैं. और उनके लीलाएं सब दिव्य है. जैसे बंधन में जेल में आए, फिर भी उनको बाहर आने में कोई कठिनाई हुई नहीं. द्वार पर सिक्योरिटी सो गए और वो खुल गया दरवाज़ा. और जब यशोदा मैया ने उनको बांध के रखा था उखल के साथ, फिर भी उन्होंने नलकुंवर और मणिग्रोह का अपन बंधन में रहते हुए उन्होंने उनको बंधन से मुक्त कर दिया. तो प्रभु की जो लीलाएं है दिव्य है. और वो चाहे तो यशोदा मैया ने बांधे हुए रस्सी को बलपूर्वक तोड़कर फ्री हो सकते थे, लेकिन उनका इतना प्रेम था कि उन्होंने ऐसे नहीं किया. यशोदा मैया का प्रति उनका आदर था, प्रेम था. तो फिर बाद में नंद महाराज आए और उन्होंने उनको छोड़ा। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, we'll end here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.